Redditors. Hello, Challenge fans. We are back for an off-season, The Challenge, Redditors React Roundtable podcast. I'm Levi Hall, your usual host, and as always, I am joined by my stepson. It's only George, read this 28, and we couldn't do this without the beauty and the brains of the podcast. Yeah, we've got the beauty. That is Lauren, the queen of CBS reality TV. And we've got the brains, the writer, the man who used to have the most beautiful mane. It's only Brian. How are you all doing, guys?
Great.
Good. My head's cold.
Yeah. I think the real question is, speaking of your stepson, how is George's mom?
Well, she's good. She's very good.
Well, you've just taught yourself out of seeing pictures of my new adorable puppy, so you're going to regret that.
Your brother's already sent them to me. I have a favorite.
He's so cute. He's an idiot.
He is really cute. What's his name?
It's called Pilot.
Oh.
He keeps climbing in the dishwasher looking for food, and then he's heavy, so it closes and he can't get out, and Mum finds it hilarious.
Anyone else got a dog?
Chocolate Lab.
He is really cute.
I'm going to give it a couple of weeks, Brian, and then introduce him to you so you can sing him Karma Chameleon. That's what you like singing to dogs, isn't it?
Perfect. That's one of the many things, yeah.
Yeah, that's a little Easter egg for those 4 of you who've been listening to us for a while.
Well, speaking of 4, this is, one of the first times that we've had 4 people on the Roundtable podcast. We've extended the table this week to bring in Lauren, and I must say, we've got the 50% UK, 50% USA, which is, I can't believe we've managed to sync up time zones in this weird, one country's in daylight time saving zone, one isn't, but we are here to talk challenge. But more specifically, we are here to sit round the table and we are going to talk about the impact that Paramount Plus has had on the challenge and the global expansion that has just been announced. Because, as I'm sure the challenge fans know, Viacom CBS is supersizing the reality competition franchise, The Challenge. Now, this comes from Deadline, a wonderful website, I'm sure, I found via Google. The series, which is itself a spin-off of The Real World and Road Rules, is getting a CBS spin-off and a new Paramount Plus series, as well as a number of international versions on other Viacom CBS-owned networks. The broadcast network will air The Challenge CBS as part of the global tournament, The Challenge War of the Worlds. The winners of the CBS series, as well as the winners from The Challenge Argentina, which will air on Telefe, I think that's how it's pronounced, The Challenge Australia, which will air on Network 10, and George, you ready for it? The Challenge UK, which will air on Channel 5, will all compete in The Challenge War of the Worlds, a battle for the first ever world champion. And on top of that, Paramount Plus has announced that there's going to be a 3rd season of Challenge All-Stars, which is going to launch on May the 11th. And as I'm sure it's going to happen, MTV are going to bring more Challenge back to our screens. So I think the first question that I want to put out to you guys is, has Paramount Plus's foray into spin-offs been a good thing for the show? George, I'm going to go to you first.
As the only person on this round table who hasn't watched All Stars, I don't know why you go to me. But I have some theories about this. One, they kept this incredibly quiet. Like, it was my main source of news for the challenge is the wonderful subreddit which gave us our name. But I didn't see any rumors about this anywhere, which I find quite interesting. What I'm more interested in is their thought process for why they think this is a good idea. Because unless they throw loads of money at this to promote it, like we talked about in one of our last episodes, they're going to go through the same thing they did with Vendettas. Vendettas had some pretty well-known people from the UK on it. They didn't market it, and then they canned it on the UK network after 4 episodes, Levi? Correct me if I'm wrong.
4 or 5, I think it was, yeah.
Sorry, sticking pub. That's a really big name. But yeah, that I find weird. I mean, I haven't seen any promotion for it for any UK for Channel 5. I don't know when it's meant to start, Levi, but I think they've spun up an idea because they are worried they're running out of competitors, but they're just falling into the same traps they had last time.
So it's interesting that you say that, and I want to go to Lauren and Brian here, because Paramount Plus obviously started as the rebrand of CBS All Access, but now they're starting, like Peacock have done, NBC's Peacock, they're starting to push it out into other territories. I know over here it's going to launch both as part of the Sky platform and also as a separate app in, I think, the summer, possibly late summer, early autumn. Now, my question is, have they chosen Argentina, Australia, and the UK because that's where Paramount Plus is airing? Or do you think they're really doing what George is saying, is they've run out of people and they're trying to bring people in? Lauren?
I think they've run out of people. And I assume we're going to talk about the CBS cast later, but they've got a good cast. What I compare this to is Bravo Real Housewives, which I'm probably the only one who watches any Housewives. But when I think about when that franchise started to what it is now, it's only blown up. It's only gotten more popular, and expansion of that franchise only helped it. Andy Cohen, who he has a hosting show, basically, which is just to talk about and recap Bravo Real Housewives and their spinoffs. So to me, it's kind of following that same model. What's interesting to me is that that franchise is also starting to expand into streaming. They're doing Peacock for some of the franchises, but I think they're trying to follow that model and just try to blow up the challenge as much as possible. I think if the shows individually perform well, that's exactly what's going to happen. People are going to watch UK and get interested in Argentina. They're going to watch Argentina, get interested in Australia.
So can I ask, Lauren, like, do you think this is because they didn't get the international reaction they wanted off Spies, Lies and Allies? And they've gone, right, we'll just throw more effort at it and give us only your country's cast members? Because this is like, Spies, Lies and Allies was like a dummy version of this, right?
I don't quite think so, because these are getting more specific to a place, whereas I don't think Spies, Lies, and Allies really was. So I think they're trying to specialize a little bit more and go to different cities and places and networks and try to draw in that audience first and then get them to the main show.
What are your thoughts,
Which is
Brian? Oh, sorry, Lauren.
No, I was going to say, I think Bravo's done that, where they're trying to get somebody's specific interest, get them hooked on the concept, and then get them to the other shows. So
Brian, once you fixed your shoulder?
No, I have my funny bone. I don't know what a negative could even be of this. Like, I don't see in any way why this could be bad. And yes, it does make me funny with George. Good one. I just, any criticism or whatever I've read anyone say, it's like, well, just don't watch it. Like, we can't just keep casting the same people over and over again. I do have to figure out some way of getting new people on the show. My only thing is, like, if you're going to make all of these for $1 million, I think we're just, I think they're just going to have to keep having some of the similar issues. I hope these are for like $150,000 like they used to be. I think that would help a lot.
Ryan, can I ask you, just talk about criticism that you've seen and heard of on this? Can you just go into detail on that? Because when, I think, Lauren, you alerted us to it in the group chat, and I was super excited about this whole thing. Where's this criticism
I'm talking
coming
about,
from?
like, I've seen people being like, well, it'll be watered down and it's going to be this and that. And like, almost like I wish it would be simpler. Like, a lot of people are like, this is the opposite of what a lot of, this is the opposite of going back to the basics. This is blowing it up in an entirely different way. I guess, I don't know. It's nothing like serious, but like, I just don't see any negative in it whatsoever. Like, at all. Just don't watch it. I mean, just if you don't like it, just don't watch it. Like,
Brian, you are the man who has once said, give me 365 days of one season and immediately roll into the next season. So
that'd be fantastic. A new episode a week. That'd be great. I don't know. I think it's gonna be fucking freaking great. Sorry.
Wasn't that called Final Reckoning, Brian?
Yeah, and I loved it. I didn't realize people didn't like it until I went on the internet, and I was like, oh.
So okay, is because every criticism I see whenever they add like Big Brother cast members or Survivor cast members to the main show is I don't know these people, I don't care. Is that most of the complaints, Lauren and Brian, you've seen?
Yeah, I think that's what I see. And people are saying, what happened to the MTV cast members? This isn't MTV anymore. It's mostly about they don't want to branch out to people that they didn't grow up with.
I think
Well,
that's
like, what
a difficult
even is
thing as well,
MTV
though, isn't it?
anymore, though?
Yeah, they don't have
What
these
what
shows.
even is it? There's nothing. They have nothing. It's just ridiculousness, and then the challenge, and then
Yeah.
catfish sometimes, and then whatever Jersey Shore spinoff, like whatever's left in that orange. But like, it's just like what even what are they even talking about? Like,
Agree.
Do you-
Yeah.
Do you know what the sixth most popular Reddit post of all time on the channel subreddit is? It's a tweet from someone saying, I'm finally launching an official investigation into who has kidnapped the CEOs of MTV's
Yeah.
family and is making them play ridiculousness for 23 hours a day. It's like,
Rob Dyrdek did.
Yeah.
He
yeah,
did it.
still up to this day.
Oh, it's ridiculous
Yeah,
that you
I-
know that, George.
I didn't think about this angle, but they literally have nowhere else to go but other networks at this point.
Yeah,
That's
of course.
it.
Here's a
But-
question.
So what's happened?
Here's a question.
new
Sorry,
road-
that I just
road
want to put
rules?
to you guys. The question I want to put to you guys here is: should they have done this earlier, before they brought in the UK people, before they brought in the Big Brother people, before they brought in the everyone from everywhere people? Should they have tried to do this? Because not to toot our own horns, but George, Brian, and myself discussed this on one of our podcasts a while ago.
Pretty much just this verbatim, almost in a way.
It's like someone was listening, but I won't lie, that one didn't get many listeners, but it might have got the one listener that came up with this idea. But yeah, do you think, Lauren, that they should have probably done this before they brought the CBS people in? Because there's been a lot of pushback on the Big Brother people.
I don't think they should have done it before. I think they got their feet wet, and that was a good idea to sort of do a test run to see if it totally flopped or it totally didn't. They may have done it for how many seasons have the Big Brother people been on now? 4 to 5.
Yeah,
It's
Vendettas
like
was the first.
Vendettas.
Yeah.
Maybe they could have kept it to 2 or 3 seasons instead of how long they've done it, but I don't think it was a bad idea to do it first.
Slightly different question, and Levi, I'm going to make you answer this first because you always get away with not giving your opinions. Okay, out of War of the Worlds 1, we could have got maybe 7 all-time consistently great cast members if, let's say, the Brits weren't so problematic and Turbo wasn't a psycho. If they hadn't all dropped off the show, would they be doing this now? Because I don't think they would.
I think
this
that
going
that's
to me?
maybe where this started.
Brian,
feel like
I asked
this
that question.
isn't
Brian, I asked that question to Levi. Quiet.
Oh, my bad. I'm so sorry.
George gets like 2 tries at hosting, screws up the sound, and suddenly he's cutting Brian off at the seam. George, you're grounded.
What, like he did to his own hair?
Oh, the banter is back, lads. The banter is back. Loza and the lads. That's what we should rename this this podcast. It's interesting you say that. I think if you look at the problem situation of the UK cast, I do think some of it isn't specifically that they were okay. Obviously, you know who is a big problem. I don't want to say his name. No.
Kyle.
No, but obviously who is a big problem. But you look at like Theo, I think would have been a mainstay had it not been for the eye situation. I think, unfortunately for Ashley, he's had some horrible things happen in his life, and therefore I don't think reality TV is something that he wants right now. And obviously we wish the best to him and his family. Joss didn't speak for a whole season. It's all very well getting the second hottest person from the history of the challenge on, but if they're not going to entertain you,
really good looking guy.
Surely they should have known, like, Rogan is Rogan. But yeah, I think, if you look at like I think Ashley could have been great. I think Theo could have been great. Kyle worked, and I think because Kyle worked, they kept going for it, and that's why they did the UK US version. I think yes, they are looking for more of the UK cast, which I find partly I think is because they communicate easier with the audience and they communicate easier with the other people there. But I think the problem that they've had bringing in all these new people is people don't know the show, so they come in and don't actually know what they're doing. And by doing this, it's like a training camp essentially, because we don't know what the prize is. The prize literally may just be you get to go on the War of the Worlds bit on Paramount Plus to be the world champion.
I would love if that was the prize. That'd be great.
And you know, all these.
Could they please make the prize a T-Mobile sidekick?
That would be even better.
One of the thousands Bananas probably has knocking around in his flat house. He's probably got a house.
Yeah, I do think, like, I was super excited when I heard this, and what I want to come to is Paramount Plus and the role that Paramount Plus has had in this. I don't know the exact numbers of people that are subscribed to it. I understand Peacock's like 30 something million, so I would assume it's somewhere there. And I understand that Challenge All Stars has been one of the biggest shows, certainly one of the biggest original shows on the network, which means, let's say, it's probably been watched by, should we say 5 million? Which is more than the challenge gets. So maybe part of the reason that they're doing this is because of the Paramount Plus going into other regions and other territories. And essentially what they're doing is you hook someone in Australia on the Challenge Australia on Channel 10, but you say the only way you can see whether these people will be world champions is Paramount Plus. You hook the UK people on Channel 5, because Channel 5, to give Lauren and Brian an idea, Channel 5 is one of the 5 main channels here. Everyone has it. Not everyone has MTV. You know, you hook people on that. The only way you can see if these guys win, Paramount Plus. On Telefe over in Argentina, same situation. And then obviously the CBS one, which we will come to in a little bit. You know, all the people love Big Brother, people love Survivor. They'll watch that and then they'll come to Paramount Plus, but also they'll watch that and then that's their taste of the challenge to go to MTV. What do we think there? I'm very long with the question.
I just hope that the one hope that I really have in all this is that the regular show, like the show, stays meaningful, I guess. It's, and this is to you guys, it's gonna sound silly, but one thing I always like see when I'm around soccer fans or football fans, as you would say, is like there's always a different championship being played for by somebody on a different team everywhere. Like and it's always, to me, the one thing I never understood is that it feels like if every game is important, then none of them are, if that makes sense. And that's what I always get the sense, is that every game is a big game, which is great and I'm sure it makes a ton of sense to you guys. But for me, it's like, that means that no game is a big game. And so I'm hoping that doesn't really happen with this, and that the big game like remains the big game, you know, if that
the difference there though is and I'm going to use Levi's least favorite word, there are tiers of that in soccer, in rugby, in every UK sport, right? No one would ever say the FA Cup is worth more than the Premier League or the Champions League, right? And the Champions League is worth more than the Premier League. So Brian, your point about prize money really helps this. If they pitch it at the right level for these spin-offs, then you do just get that, well, I want to win this to get onto that. And it would work. I don't think there's no way they'll chuck $1 million as prize money for the spin-offs.
I mean, I hope not, but you know,
if they do, I'll eat your hair.
No, that's gross. I only have a little bit saved, but that's for
gross.
Here's my question.
We'll talk about it. There's a story. Anyways, yeah.
Here's my question, just following on from what Brian said. At this point now, if the Challenge Australia is on Channel 10, which again is one of their main channels, Challenge Argentina is on Telefe, one of their main channels. Challenge CBS is on CBS. Challenge UK is on Channel 5. Is the main challenge now on the smallest platform. Lauren?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking while we were talking that the more I think about it, I think this has absolutely nothing to do with MTV and more about pure, if you're looking at pure analytics, and this is just me guessing and making it up, even if they have 1 million subscribers who are paying $5 a month, that's $5 million a month of revenue they're bringing in. If they keep the challenge going year round, they could be adding 2 months, we'll say, just for the challenge that's airing on Paramount Plus. That's $10 million in revenue. They're probably spending not even close to that in production cost. So I'm thinking it's purely about keeping monthly subscriptions intact because these streaming services are a monthly model.
So Paramount Plus, I was pretty close, has 32.8 million subscribers. So Paramount Plus essentially is a bigger platform than MTV.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who watches MTV for any reason? Like, who's like, I gotta tune into MTV? Other than people who are like, I gotta watch the challenge, or I, for whatever reason, still like whatever Jersey Shore spinoff they're on now. Like, they don't have anything. It's background noise. So like, the challenge doesn't belong there anyway.
I know Spies, Lies, and Allies got like shitty ratings, but I know Total Madness was one of the highest ones ever. It was like a 0.9 on Nielsen. Does that mean 900,000 people watched it live?
No, that's demo, isn't it?
I don't know how that worked, but my question is like, does that account for people who are like watching it, like who are recording it and then watching? Because who watches TV regularly anymore? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I'm sure some people do, but older people, and like, that's not really the target market that they want for the show, ideally, right? So it's like, I mean, I feel like it's a lot bigger than like the ratings on TV would show, because MTV is it's nothing anymore. It's a YouTube channel.
I think Lauren's idea is completely right. Do we know how they're going to air these spin-offs?
Yes.
I don't know. Am I going to be able to watch them?
Yes. So my understanding is this is how they're going to air the spin-offs. In the country that they're in, they will be on the TV. So you'll have yours on CBS. We'll have ours on Channel 5. Australia will have theirs on 10. And Argentina will have theirs on Telefe. Then in the countries they're not on, they'll be on Paramount Plus in the other countries. So R1 will be available on Paramount Plus for Brian and Lauren, but not for us. It'll be geo-blocked for us. We'll get the Australian, the Argentinian, and CBS one on our Paramount Plus when it comes out.
Okay, can I ask a group question? Which one are you most, Lauren, which one are you most excited about?
The spinoffs, I mean, it's got to be the CBS one, right? It's the one I'm going to be most familiar with the cast. I am very intrigued with the Australia version. I did spend 3 weeks with a bunch of Australians once, and if they're anything like that and they're on previous reality stars, that one is going to be filled with a lot of drinking and a lot of drama.
Yeah,
so I'm excited about that one, the second most.
Brian, quick straw poll. Which one are you most excited about?
The UK one, because I'm looking forward to all the accents.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be cool for me because this will be the first time I ever watched the challenge where I don't know a single person. Like, it's like, I don't understand. Is like the UK one going to be like, no, oh my God. Is the UK one going to be...
While Brian sorts that, Levi, which one are you most excited about?
I'm eating fruit pastels right now.
Oh, you both suck.
Wait, no, hold on, I'm here.
Go back to Brian. Go back to Brian.
Sorry, Brian.
Maybe I'm not.
He's turned his video off.
Here we are. Okay, hold on. Will I get off the cord? I think I just want to know who is eligible for the UK one. Like, can Rogan go on that one, or is it going to be all new people?
This was my next question. So my understanding, and while Brian sorts himself out, my understanding is that for each of them, you have to have been on a reality show in that country to be on the show, or potentially like, you know, in someone like Kel's thing, a reality show on Netflix or whatever. You have to have been on a reality show and be from that country to be on that show. But like you say, Brian, Do you think the UK one, to try and get viewers in, either people that already watch it on MTV here or people that know Geordie Shore, will they try and throw Kyle onto it and have him as the face of it because he understands the show, he can lead it? Will CBS throw a Josh, a Casey, a Fessy on there? Or is it literally all new people? Do we know?
We know.
I think the CBS one's all new people.
I've seen rumors that it's no vets.
Okay.
Have you
So
not read RIP? Have you not read RIP Grantland's cast preview for CBS yet?
I'm avoiding spoilers.
Oh, fair enough. I will be quiet then.
But then if that's the case, if there's no vets on CBS, I would assume there's no vets on UK. But then that's the only difference, is it's a different market. CBS is slightly different market, but you still had CBS, like American people watch the challenge, if that makes sense.
Maybe Kyle's the host of the UK challenge.
I think you'd be great.
That would be awesome. I love that idea so much.
Kyle can't read.
Be nice.
Yes, he can. A little bit.
Yeah.
I wonder though.
Street signs.
I want that's so. This is another question. Okay, so when we had Champs versus Stars and Champs versus Pros as a spin-off, okay, I was about to say show of hands. The audio people won't know this. We'll do a show of hands anyway. Hands up, George. Put the thing down. Hands up if you think that a win on the Pros or the Stars series counts as a proper win. Okay, so for those listening, there's no hands up. I very much feel if TJ hosts the show, it's a proper challenge. So I felt like All Stars was a proper challenge because TJ hosted it. Do we think TJ is going to be hosting all of these? Let's forget anything we may know.
I think logistically, how could he host that many at once?
He can't host like 7 seasons in a year.
Yeah.
He has a life.
He's on set for probably about 20 minutes.
Yeah, but he has to be in that country. He has to be in that country for 3 months.
He did the Dirty 30 final over phone.
Yeah, he can just zoom in. Hologram.
The world's used to that. No, I think
cloning.
Honestly, Lauren, I really hope Kyle hosts the British one. That is such a good idea. That will make me so happy.
I think TJ might host the CBS one.
That would make
sense. This is a stupid question. Here's a stupid question. What language do they speak in Argentina?
Spanish.
Spanish.
Okay, great. Well, he probably can't do that one then. Unless, I don't know, maybe
I thought his wife was Spanish, or did I make that up?
That doesn't mean you can host a TV show in Spanish.
I don't know. You're his best friend, Levi. Tell us.
No comment. Okay, so
send him a meme in Spanish and see if he responds.
Or as they call it in Spain, a meme. That's France, my bad. There we go. The drink spit, tick off on the bingo card. Same bingo card for Roundtable as the normal one. But no, so genuinely, we don't think TJ's going to host them all. Do we think TJ's hosting the CBS one? Lauren?
Yes. That's for continuity. Continuity for their base market.
Brian?
He has to. Yes, 100%.
George?
Yes, for CBS.
Do we think that TJ's hosting the British one? Lauren?
No, somebody from the UK is hosting it.
Brian?
Yes.
George?
Guys, I'm really sorry. I've been finding this news. I'm hosting the Brit. No, I'm not. I want
there'll be no audio on the British one, guys.
Yeah, shit, good point. No, I'm not filming it. Who's the guy who did the original Big Brothers in the UK? I've only ever seen the clips like today in the Big Brother house.
Mark,
the guy
you mean the narrator guy?
Yes.
He doesn't do it in front of the camera.
No, but his voice is epic, and that'd be quite funny.
Well, if you want a Geordie, I'm going with Brian's. The more I think about it, the more I like Brian's idea of having Kyle do it.
Mate, that was Lauren's idea. You sexist pig.
I know, but I was looking at Brian. Sorry. No. The more I think about it, the more I like Lauren's idea of
there you go.
Kyle hosting it.
That's getting edited out.
Yes, it is. No, it's not. I'm going on holiday tomorrow. I haven't got time. I have to tell you where I'm going. I'm going to Argentina to host the challenge. No.
Oh my God, that would make me so happy. Honestly, though, actually, to go back to the thing earlier.
Hola, mi name Levi Hall.
I would want to host the Australian one because
boy.
I agree with Lauren. Australians are batshit crazy. They are the most fun drinkers I've ever been out with. They are all like this. This Scar is from a night out with an Aussie. The last one, yeah.
They won't be afraid to do these challenges either.
No.
I don't see anybody quitting.
I don't see anyone quitting. I don't see anyone toning down the bad side of themselves for social media.
Well,
and
the last Aussie that was on it didn't, the moron.
I can't get into that. But yeah, the Australian one.
I was like, I didn't know what you were talking about. Okay.
The Australian one will be by far the most entertaining.
Yeah, she really blew that one, huh?
Here's the other question.
No, she blew Rogan.
Oh, George.
Here's the other question that they could do though. If they wanted TJ to host them all, they could simul film them. So they basically film all of them at the same time in the same country. They have 4 different houses. They keep them apart. They have TJ do a day on set at the challenge for each one, and they will do the same challenges. But then does that stop the people watching every single series on Paramount Plus?
I don't think they'll film the UK one in the UK.
No, I don't either. Because
they keep going to countries with like, and this sounds rude, sorry, but limited health and safety rules because it's easier for them to do it on the cheap, right?
Didn't it say in one of the articles that they're all filming in Argentina?
I think you're right.
Or Venezuela or whatever, whichever country.
So that makes me think that they're all being filmed together, but in separate houses. So they'll have the same challenges, the same eliminations.
Or repurposed in different ways. But yeah, you're going to definitely see a lot of location overlap for sure.
Well, they've all got to film at least at the same time wherever they're filming, because you can't have like someone win their version and then a year later they do War of the Worlds.
Yeah, that'd be weird.
This is another question. Does anyone think War of the Worlds is a weird pick for a name considering they've already had War of the Worlds 1 and War of the Worlds 2?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, every time I see like a name of something, I think we're out. Like as a society, I just think we're out of name. Like I don't think there's anything left.
Oh no, I know.
Like, I think all of the names are taken. Like,
I know what I would have called. I know what I would have called this.
What?
Glow balls in.
See, but you can't do that because that's immature. But like, you know what I mean? Like I
I'm
know
a child.
the real names. That's really funny. Glow balls in would be. No, that should be the slogan. Go balls in.
That did not get the reaction I wanted. So thank you for at least acknowledging it. That was on the fly and quite witty.
Classic George.
Dicks. I fucking hate you all.
No, but I just found it very weird that they called it that when they've already had 2 seasons called War of the Worlds.
But also they're two of the best most. Actually, I'd say they're the 2 best most recent seasons. You'd want to direct people to those seasons based off the spin-offs, but you're going to lose people by saying, no, I've already watched it. Like, unfortunately, that will happen.
Because people are stupid.
Yeah, significantly. Mainly the ones that get to go on the challenge. There's triangles in the sign.
There's really stupid people.
This is a question. I think it feeds off what we've.
It's a long square.
So this is a question that I think feeds off what we've been like discussing, and it's just one slight fear I have, which is that all of this is going to end up making the challenge CBS over the next few years, the challenge, and it's going to minor league the MTV one. That is my only fear of this whole thing. I'm really excited by the whole thing, but I'm just in fear of that.
Do you not think it's more likely to migrate as a permanent thing on Paramount Plus than as a permanent thing on CBS?
Yeah, I think it's likely it comes off MTV altogether and you still have that final competition, but it's no longer on MTV.
Yeah.
Brian?
I mean, probably, right? That's the thing that makes the most sense, but I mean, where else would it go? It's got to leave MTV soon. It can't succeed. It can't die on that withering vine, you know.
I mean, maybe the chokehold Rob Dyrdek has is, you know, coming to an end contractually in a year, and they're exiting MTV altogether.
Sorry, who is this geezer?
The ridiculousness guy.
The ridiculousness host. That's the.
I didn't know he had a name.
Rob Dyrdek.
I thought his name was Mr. Ridiculous. They really like their extreme sports people hosting stuff, don't they?
That was like the thing though. Street sports was like dope over here, like when this all started. Yeah. Extreme sports ruled. Like skateboarding was hot. Yeah. Everything was all
Tony
it was
Hawk,
like
yeah.
X Games. Yeah. I played skateboarding video games. This is off subject.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. I loved.
Dude, yeah, come on.
PS1.
A lot of kick flips, you know, ollies, that type of shit.
Yeah, it's kind of like
George
Rugby
gets
George,
it.
but with a skateboard.
Now, if you to carry on the off topic, if you read the series of like events where Tony Hawk has not been recognized as Tony Hawk, they're absolutely brilliant. It's just like someone shouts at him in a like skate park going, do a kickflip, and he does one, and the next one is, holy shit, he did it.
That's Tony Hawk.
Oh my god, it's Tony Hawk.
And
No,
I
it's
think
Ethan Hawke. Are you creating Family Guy, Brian?
No, not really.
We'll move
I
on.
used
We'll
to
move
be,
on.
Yeah.
We'll move on then. That
well,
was
you know, with Family Guy and all these shows that are on TV, and I think that's the thing with casts is they're a big family.
Big way.
And speaking of families, how's your mum, George? No, speaking of families, do you think that this continued expansion of the challenge as a big Viacom brand is going to succeed? Because there is that danger that too much of a good thing is no longer a good thing. That's open to the floor.
If it keeps the recipe that people loved the most on the challenge, the original, which is a good mix of drama and a good mix of competition, it's going to succeed. I think if it becomes pure sports, you're going to limit the audience. So I think it depends on how the first few spinoffs really play out.
So I completely agree. I think the thing the last few seasons of the challenge has been missing is someone who can completely carry the show and create storylines and be interesting. By lowering the cash prize so it's not as much of a life-changing quantity of money, you're going to get people on there who are rogues like dickheads, very funny and a bit weird. If that filters in organic and entertaining personalities onto the main show, who some people will go in liking and the rest will grow to love. Like I never watched any Real World before I watched the challenge, and War of the Worlds 2 is my favorite season. So immediately Jordan, absolutely awesome. Tori, awesome to me. Theo, absolute hero. Like there are people you instantly like if you filter the right personalities onto the main show. By doing this casting thing slightly differently than trying to expect no-name rookies to thrive in front of everyone's biggest and favorite stars, you're going to get new people who can carry a series. I think that's where they've done the right thing here. And if anything, I think it's going to create that next wave of challenges they've been trying to do forever.
Right?
Yeah, they gotta just skew young. They gotta skew young with all of this because number one, young people. I mean, we were all youths at one point in our days, and we were idiots. And people making bad decisions is like a pillar of this show. And then when you make it for $1 million and you cast people in their 30s and sometimes 40s, they're not going to be stupid about it because they understand what the value of all that money actually is. When you're like 23, it sounds like a lot of money, but for most people, that's so unobtainable that there's no reason to like censor yourself or project anything but like being a young, stupid, drunk 23-year-old. So if they can like harness that energy again, because like, and eventually certain challenge fans are going to have to come to realization where it's like, it's like the Jay-Z line, what you want my old shit, buy my old album. Like, it's like, it's changing. So it's like, hop on the ride and just like, let them, like one of the challenge people let us down ever. So it's like, I'm sure they've got a plan. I'm sure they've figured it out. I just hope they skew younger. Like, I hope they're all like, I'm 21,
I very much think as well, not so much for the CBS lot, but for the UK, the Australian, and possibly the Argentinian lot. If the prize is that you then go on, you win the War of the Worlds, you go on the main challenge. That's a big thing for like these Brits to, be in like someone like Carl's position where they're a mainstay on American reality TV, because reality TV to a lot of Brits is a job. So to then be able to carry that over to the USA, that for me, I think to some of them would be a prize in itself.
Am I wrong? I thought that was the prize of the person who won the grand final between all four of them. It was immediate casting on the main one.
They've not announced it, but I would assume.
Yeah,
I might have read.
That
might
I
be
think
a
all of
rumor.
us have just, that's assumed.
Oh no, the one thing I've had confirmed is the final of the Australian one is the bar exam.
Yeah, I was just thinking they should do the
Can't
winners
wait. I can't
automatically
wait.
get casted, and then they should do like a fan favorite vote of one person gets a fan favorite vote into the main show.
That would be quite cool.
Yeah.
So I just want to go to Lauren and Brian, mainly Lauren on this one, because I think because we're going to talk about CBS, and I know Lauren watches a lot more of the reality shows on CBS than Brian, but but no, like the UK, I think the UK, the Australian, and the Argentinian one are in a very different position to the CBS one. Do you think that a prize of going on the Challenge MTV is a big enough prize for someone on the Challenge CBS?
I think, let's be realistic, probably one of the prizes that they're expecting is the exposure socially. So even if they don't win, they're still getting that.
Right?
I mean, I would hope it's for some money. I mean, that's like the game, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what type of person goes on these shows. I've never seen a minute of them. But like, so I can't relate to, or like, I can't empathize with what type of people these are. But Lauren's probably right. It's probably like their social media following will be bigger. Because like Johnny says it on his podcast all the time, and it's like he's like Challenge fans, like people from Big Brother and other shows come on the Challenge, they don't realize how like rabid Challenge fans are, and just like how intense it is from both sides of it, like good and bad people just care a lot more. So I think that's, if you're the attention-seeking reality type, I feel like that would be a prize, a gift under the tree in itself is that label of saying they're on the Challenge,
Yeah.
And then my other question.
I was gonna say it'll be interesting to see what it is, because I'm thinking about the CBS shows. I think Love Island is 100K that you have to split with somebody, so it's really only 50K. Big Brother raised theirs this year to 750K, so it's a big disparity. So it'll be interesting to see what the CBS Challenge prize money is.
So it's interesting you mentioned Love Island as well, because I feel like as far as demographic, that's the closest of the Survivor, Big Brother, Love Island, CBS shows to the Challenge's demographic. I feel like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but Big Brother and Survivor are more kind of sit down with your family, everyone watches it together. Love Island is more that 18 to 34, which the Challenge has. Is that going to be an issue for the CBS show, getting the audience in? What audience are they expecting? What are the numbers that Big Brother gets? What are the numbers that Survivor gets? What are the numbers that Love Island gets?
I don't know the numbers, but I would assume that they're almost using this as a test run to see and mix and match and see what audience does get drawn in, who sticks. Is it the family? Is it the young ones? I don't know. And I actually don't know, to Brian's point, and it was a good point. I don't know what ages they've actually casted. I don't know the average cast age. So that would be something interesting to look at.
There's one pretty awesome sounding person on the CBS one. Like generally
awesome sounding how?
As in like could be all time terrifying in terms of physicality and intelligence.
Okay, can I ask one question about CBS one? This is the only spoiler I'm willing to give myself. Okay. So Misha Tate, the UFC fighter, just won Celebrity Big Brother. Is she on the Challenge CBS?
I don't think so. I don't know the cast list by heart, but
that's such a missed opportunity.
I don't think they casted anybody from Celebrity Big Brother.
I looked at the names and I didn't recognize a single one of them. I thought I saw some sort of some gentleman. There was a gentleman named Christmas though. I thought that was a cool name.
I
That's
thought
not,
Christmas
that's,
was. I thought that was
sir,
a.
Christmas
sir,
was a
that's
woman.
not a gentleman. That's a woman.
Oh,
So-
Christmas is a girl. Okay, well, there you go.
So, as the only person on this podcast so far who
Wow.
hasn't been sexist, apart from Lauren,
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's really
It's my
sexist of
name.
you to say,
Christmas.
George. That's really sexist for you to say.
What
Didn't
if you didn't know what gender someone named just someone named Christmas? Like what gender do you popped into your head? I mean, now you guys are gonna think.
no,
Okay,
woman.
whatever, we're moving on.
The Bond girl in World Is Not Enough is called Christmas Jones. So I have something to draw on.
Yeah,
know,
but that's
I don't know.
fiction
Did they-
and it's a
no,
movie,
but
so I haven't seen
quick-
it.
Quickly, did that person not get
Feel
thrown
like
off
an
Big
idiot.
Brother, or not come out of? Did they not come out of Big Brother very well? Should we say before I get accused of slander?
She
They
broke
got
her leg,
Colin
didn't
that's
she?
shocking.
Wait, so is talk about Christmas open now? Are we open?
Well,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not editing, so I guess so.
I'm a
Okay.
big fan of ham
No,
over
no, no, no.
turkey on Christmas Day. You know what I mean? Also, I'm like into the whole opening of the presents on Christmas Day rather than Christmas Eve as well.
I
I
am a
make great
Jew.
cookies. Well, my dad makes really good cookies. Well, we're talking about Christmas right now, though, so let me just have my time. Like I feel like the best Christmas present I ever got. Well, let's do this. I'll tell the story of how I found out Santa wasn't real. I got a
Do carry on, Lauren.
You can do that.
All right, so George, you're like kind of right. She isn't well liked, but not sort of because of the show. But so she placed, I think, third on her first season, which was the season Josh was on.
Oh,
So it was Josh, the guy that Josh didn't beat, the guy Josh lost to, and then Christmas was third.
Did she
And
break her
then
leg?
she broke her leg. Yes, that's correct. And then the guy that was running the show convinced everybody to just let her win the next competition with a broken leg. So
Okay.
she's very athletic. So I see her going far because she's athletic, but her
But she
social
only
game
has
is-
one leg, so
it's healed now, but she's kind of like this person who's like, oh, I'm just going to go along with the team. So she's never going to go, to me, she's never going to go all the way because she's a little bit too much of a following other people's game, but very athletic. She comes off badly because she like tried to like run over an ex-boyfriend and like got a felony because of it.
oh God,
Sorry,
that's
sorry,
worse than
sorry,
what?
what?
That's worse.
Didn't they
That's
get-
worse.
hold on, didn't they have a
That's
song
worse
about
than what
that?
I thought I heard.
I love that Brian just
Fuck
came back
me.
with that.
Ran over by a reindeer. That song, right? Isn't
That's
that
so
about-
perfect. Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
great.
Chris-
Also, I just have a never mind. We're gonna keep it moving.
Well, sorry for spoiling that Christmas situation, but that may or may not. it's
December
just in rumours.
25th every year.
It's
every year,
just
December
there he
25th.
is drinking his eggnog. That's
Great.
obviously just rumors. So nothing is confirmed there.
No,
Um,
it happens every year. December 25th. It's not a rumor.
Listen-
It's like a
Listen,
party.
Brian,
It's like
I'm a
thing. It's like
Jew,
holiday.
and this is a very sensitive subject for me. So I'm going to go back to Lauren here. How excited are you about the Challenge CBS?
Oh, I'm very excited. So I probably know at least half the cast.
Christmas,
I
Hanukkah.
don't watch Survivor, so that's a bit of a gap for me. Love Island, last season 3, I have not watched either, but everybody else I know. So all the other Love Islands, Big Brother, obviously, which you guys know I love from our previous conversations. A lot of cast from there that I'm looking forward to seeing. So.
And honest opinion, hand on hearts, I know we're obsessed with this show. Do you think the Challenge CBS will be a success as a standalone CBS show? Forget the Paramount Plus stuff. As a standalone CBS show, do you think it's going to be a success?
I think it could be, because I think, like what I was saying, if they get the right combination of athletes and drama is what's going to make it successful. And looking at the cast for the CBS one, I think they've actually gotten a good mix in this cast.
Don't 11 million people on average watch every episode of Big Brother?
I've got no idea of the numbers.
That seems
but,
like a lot. That seems like maybe I'm wrong. That seems like a lot.
people.
Yeah, to me, the only flaw in the CBS casting is it's all very
Christmas.
recent seasons. I think they could have pulled it. They pulled a little bit from older seasons, but it's all very recent.
Just a geriatric jumping out of a plane with a walking stick, landing on the ground.
Yeah.
Hello, TJ.
Oh, the challenge senior edition, like literally though, like actual senior. We'll talk.
Around 4 million for Big Brother CBS, so a lot.
That's still kind of a lot.
Yeah.
And going over to Brian, obviously you're not going to know people from the Argentinian one. Do you speak Spanish?
Poquito, but no bueno.
See. And obviously you're not going to know people from the Australian one, but we're all very excited about that. Are those versions that you're looking forward to?
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna watch them if I can. I just like, again, I know you're sure I'm gonna be able to watch those on Paramount Plus. Like, if so, I'm in. Like, yeah, subtitles are great. Plus, I'd rather have subtitles for the UK one anyway, to be honest. I'm probably gonna need it. Sometimes you guys are even tough to understand, and you guys speak very well. Oh, yeah, I remember every once in a while Bear would talk, and I'd be like, I have no clue.
Not talking about that wanker on this podcast.
And sorry,
I'd like to cave his head in.
Speaking of wankers, let's go to George. George,
I'm not even mad about that.
We're in an interesting position with the UK show where it's not being put on MTV, hidden away. It's going to be put on Channel 5. They're probably going to heavily promote it because it's going to be their big reality show. As the man that has introduced the 8 of the 10 people in the UK that watched the challenge to the show, obviously there was me originally, and I introduced our mate Ryan, who would have been here, but he's working tonight, unfortunately. Not for him, he's making money, but for us, because we don't get his company. How do you feel about the fact it's on Channel 5, and how do you feel about the fact you can introduce people to the show without them having to find some workaround?
Irish Order will be very, very happy. Honestly, it depends on... Yes, it depends on quality. If I send someone to the challenge, I will send them to War of the Worlds 1 as my main go. If they've got a way to watch it, Rivals 1 will kind of beat it. If the UK version is not great, and it has to be immediately good as well, then this won't help me to introduce new people to the show at all. If they've cast right, which it seems like Lauren thinks they've done for CBS, and if they do the same for the UK, then that would be great. My question is, what, and I didn't know this, Levi, you might have a better idea, what UK reality shows can they pull from? Like, I know our Love Island is quite big, but we got Theo out of it. If they find anyone half as good as that, that's automatically quite good.
So the UK reality show situation is very different to the US one, where if you're on Big Brother, you're on a Viacom contract for a certain amount of time. If you're on something on NBC, you're on an NBC contract. Over here, you're just contracted to the show. So they could literally pull from anything. And they could probably, be slightly loose with the reality TV show, definition. So I think the world is their oyster, but I agree with you. They need to get it right. I feel like this is a one-shot deal.
And I think Lauren's hit on the head. It needs to be drama and competitors in equal measure.
Well, it'd be nice. It'd be nice that all these people don't know how to play the game. Like, none of them know what they're doing. So that's going to be nice. It's going to be like, part of the reason Spies, Lies, and Allies was such a drag at points is because they all were like, they all knew how to play the game. They figured it out week 1, like, band together, vote out rookies, we'll be fine. And they were right. And it's like, but that's not going to happen with a bunch of like people who don't know what they're doing. Like, the environment it's shaky for anyone who's never been in it. And so, like, it's going to be all people that have never been in it. So they're going to act poorly, and they're not going to play it like Moneyball style. Like, they're not going to be efficient, or they're just going to be chucking long twos and taking fadeaway jumpers all over the place.
Yeah,
I got some of that reference. But
yeah, that's something it's something I am a little worried about the CBS show when I said they're casting a lot from recent seasons. So they've got a lot of casts that have been on the same seasons because they're only pulling those recent seasons. That's the one thing I'm kind of worried about, is that might make it a little too predictable. But I was going to ask you guys, what are the biggest reality shows in the UK right now?
Levi, you're going to have to answer that one for me.
I don't really watch much TV, if I'm honest. Obviously, Love Island.
Okay.
Big Brother's not on anymore here. Oh, so this was the other thing I was going to say. I heard rumors over here that they were thinking of bringing Big Brother back. Part of me feels like instead they're doing this.
Ooh.
And going back to Lauren's point about it needs to be the right mix of reality TV drama and athleticism and sport. That's how they've marketed it on the trailers, calling it the show that brings sport and reality together in the most extreme way. So it does feel very big the way that they've used a trailer. Very vague, but very big. And I'm just going back to Brian's point about Spies, Lies and Allies and the whole rookie thing. There's not going to be a situation here where you band together and vote out rookies anymore because everyone's a rookie. Will that make it better?
Yes. Yeah. Because I mean, they're all going to make rookie mistakes at the same time, and it's just going to be a mess, and it's going to be not predictable unless like there's some weird rule tweak that they figure out. But anybody who's going to be like that sort of bananas type who figures things out quickly, they're going to show themselves fast. They're like a Wes type who's a politics person, because there's no preconceived notions about like, well, they did it this season, so they're going to be this. It's all fresh. So it's all people who they don't even know what their challenge prototype would be. Like they can try, but I mean, reality, I mean, it gets exposed in the challenge all the time. So I just think it'll be better that rookie mistakes flying from every which direction.
You know what? I know the final where all the shows combine is literally meant to be like a very small snapshot of them competing against each other.
I think it was like 2-episode final, basically.
Yeah. If it was a full season and maybe we got 4 people from each show, how awesome would it be if you say you got Bananas, Wes, Laurel, and not Cara, but
Mitchell.
Screw it, Evelyn, back to coach one of the countries to win, and then you have those 4 going against each other. That's how you get the win. That's how you get the standard fans invested as well. Because I think that would be awesome. Also, Bananas as a coach when Wes is the opposing coach would be like Levi and I've seen this in soccer all the time, football all the time. When coaches hate each other, it's more entertaining than when players hate each other. Brian, Lauren, I'm sure there's US examples. For rugby, there's genuinely fights on the sideline between coaches. It's brilliant.
But the only problem I see there is one of the reality shows I do watch is The Ultimate Fighter, the UFC one, where they have UFC fighters as the coaches for the teams, and they'll eventually fight each other. It then becomes too much about the actual UFC fighters.
It's why you wait to
everyone else in the background.
It's why you wait to the final. Get us to grow and love the stupid competitors they've got, and then they get one of them. And imagine the drama if you've got Bananas, Wes, Laurel, and Evelyn drafting the teams they want or picking the competitors they want. I fucking love a draft. We don't get it in any English sport, and I'm so jealous of you guys for it.
Okay, so I'm just going to kind of bring this to a bit of a head with where is this going? So my opinion is they have one shot at this to get this right. And if they get it right, in my opinion, the next time they do it, it's not 4 countries. It's going to be a lot of other countries that have Paramount Plus in their market, maybe 8, maybe 10, maybe even 16. And then at that point, once you've got 16 international challenges, War of the Worlds becomes a proper series. And I think that's where they're ultimately going, but they have to hit a home run with this one. If they don't, it could not only affect War of the Worlds franchise, it could affect the whole MTV Challenge franchise. And I'm going to, put it to the floor here. Let's start with Brian.
What was the question?
Thank you very much. Let's start with Lauren.
Let's start with Lauren.
Okay, got distracted.
Okay, so I agree with you. I think they have to get it right here. If it goes well, it almost turns into, do they do like a war of the continents and then the continents do a war of the worlds? Do they split it up that way? I think that's as big as it could get. I think this is just really kind of a test and run. Does it continue to be a war of the worlds, or do they test out how the challenge is doing in different countries and they just have their own challenge in their country and it doesn't feed into anything? I think it potentially goes that way too.
Ryan?
Yeah, okay, got it. I think that this is going to be a separate thing, that they're just going to keep doing the War of the Worlds thing. Ideally, they'll just keep doing that. Then will be where, instead of taking people from reality shows and hoping they're good on the challenge, you take people from the challenge that you already know is good at the challenge to bring them on to the main thing, which has now become this sort of mishmashed together from all sorts of reality walks of life, rather than being like tethered to MTV in any sort of way. So I think it's only good. I hope it just keeps going. I hope it keeps happening. I think it'd be great if it worked. But like, this also says they have a lot of confidence in it and they're going to put a lot of money into it. If they're trying this, they're not like, they're going fucking head first. They're not really tiptoeing into the waters here, you know?
And Son, what's your thoughts?
Is that are they, quick back to Brian, are they confident or desperate? I think they're desperate. I think they're absolutely desperate, because they
think that sometimes there's no difference.
Yeah, you should see me on dates.
We'll talk about that off camera.
Jesus Christ, I got nothing.
No, that's because I don't think these series need to be overly successful. I think they need to get across the 4 spin-offs, if they get 5 or 6 people who will be mainstays on the main show, they've done their job. I don't think they really care, because all I can imagine, they will make these cheap as hell, because they can dangle the £1 million prize money and the national exposure from the main one in front of every contestant, pay them nothing, make for challenges the daily missions sillier again, and give some of us fans what everyone seems to want. But if they get a strong run rate of competitors who will stay on this show for 5 or 6 seasons, they'll keep it going, because it will cost them nothing to produce. And what they need to make the main series of a challenge good again is decent cast members who will stick around for a while and people can invest in. And that's what they nearly got with War of the Worlds 1. But problems arose, they didn't, and that's what they're trying to recreate.
Ultimately, what they're doing here is a 3-pronged attack. It's a new way of casting. It's a new way of casting. It's really to help the international expansion of Paramount Plus, because even if like only the UK and the CBS one do well and Australia don't take to it and Argentina don't, it doesn't mean they can't pick 2 other countries for the War of the Worlds 2. And if it works in all of them, then you just add more countries. I'm surprised they've not done a Canada one.
I was about to ask, who do you pick next? Like
Canada.
Yeah, because Canada, apparently Big Brother Canada has got some absolute nutcases on it who would be really entertaining on the challenge.
By the way, the 3rd prong, by the way, is that, like you said, George, is about making the proper challenge MTV, more like it was, where you have people you can be invested in.
Yeah, and I think Bananas says this really well in his podcast. That was based on the casting process they used to go through. It was like, what, thousands of people, multi-round interviews. Some of them were really long. I don't even know if we're going to get back to that, because they need twats with social media following to make it work. If you can find entertaining twats, it will work, but that's the problem. Sorry, I think Lauren and Brian, I interrupted you like 4 times there.
No, I had one thought, like Levi, what you said on point 2 about Paramount Plus. I think it's ultimately, this is all going to lead back into like battle of streaming services. streaming services are trying to keep subscribers and draw them in with things that keep them subscribing. And I forgot to mention this earlier, but I don't know if you guys have heard that I read recently that Netflix is doing the same thing, where they're spinning up a challenge on Netflix, casting from only Netflix shows. And
Really?
that's what kind of makes me think it's turning into battle of streaming services.
Instead of battle of, we've had battle of the seasons, we want battle of the shows. Imagine if we get battle of the platforms.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd so watch Jeff Bezos do a really shit emotional speech to his team. That'd be so embarrassing.
Let's put Jeff Bezos on the challenge. I think that would be great. I think let's expand up to billionaires. Just have them go
Bezos, Tim Cook, Elon Musk,
Zuck.
stick them all in.
Get Zuck in there, just being weird. Yeah, I think that'd be great.
I love that you call him Zuck. You don't even have an Instagram account and you call him Zuck.
Who would win battle?
It's
Yeah,
at
that's my
Zuck
guy.
to you, Brian. At Zuck.
Yeah, sorry, at Zuck. Yeah, because he's not a real person.
Who would win the challenge battle of the billionaires?
And
Bezos.
that gentleman and lady is a
I believe
question
that's also called
for another
capitalism.
day, because it
I
is
believe
time.
that's also called capitalism.
It is time to wrap up this podcast. Do you know what? Like, obviously, I had quite a long break from this podcast. I jumped in for the last one with George and Devin, but it's honestly been a pleasure sitting down with the three of you and just talking challenge again. I think one of the really good things about this spin-off and the way that they're doing it is there's a lot to be excited about and there's a lot to chat about because there's so much unknown. And hopefully we'll find out a bit more going forward. And when we do, I can't wait to talk to you guys, talk to Ryan, talk to the rest of the Reddit community about it. So thank you so much for joining us, Brian. Thank you so much for joining us, Lauren. Thank you, as always, for joining me. George, I've missed you all, and it's great to have you back.
Go Bulls.
Love you, Levi.
And
Merry Christmas, Brian.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
And you can always continue to take part in the conversation over on
Hold on, Levi, 1 second. Is that her, that's her name? Like, that's her actual name?
Brian, her name is Christmas. Go on Google, go on YouTube, go on Reddit, where you can continue the conversation, and you can also continue the conversation with us over on our Instagram page, which is at Challenge React. We do have a few more roundtables that we have planned. We've got a few special things that we've got planned in the off season. We don't know when the next season's happening, but we look forward to seeing you all soon. And we just want to say a big thank you to everyone for the support that you give this podcast. Big thank you to you three. Take care. We'll see you soon.